What day is it?
It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. So it's what?
It's a good week. There's been no life world-changing cataclysmic event. It's just continuation of the other events that were involved.
That is absolutely true. But you know, it's interesting. I took the girls to New York City this Sunday.
Okay.
You know, and it was so eerie. It's like it was like the apocalypse, right? Like I couldn't even pronounce the word. It's Wednesday.
It's like
but you know, I also had some time. I know we're not produced, but I just had fun this weekend. So let's see if you can hear this. Hold on.
Okay, let's hear. I got a little bit. Nice.
Probably hard to hear it, but I know you don't check it, but I already uploaded that trailer. It's on Spotify.
Oh, you uploaded the trailer. Nice.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't run it by my co-host. I just kind of on the whim did it.
I'm pretty chill.
You're like, this guy does the PR stuff. I just show up once a week.
I'm a big picture guy. Big ideas. Big picture.
So am I, which is the problem, right? Always. But all right, let's do our quick review. Do you want to do a quick numbers review, or you don't give a shit?
What's the name of the episode? What number episode are we in now?
We are going to be episode 8.
Episode 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Episode 0, right?
So that does not include the 0.
Okay. 9
yeah.
This is serious stuff.
This is serious stuff, and I'm just looking. You know, again, I don't know who cares about it, but I do. In a lifetime, we have had almost 110 hours of people watched us. Cool. That's YouTube. Over 2,000 impressions now.
Right.
Over 500. So we have 500 unique users. Just keep coming back. 500 people following us. 204 downloads of podcasts. Another 100 on Spotify. We're really getting into the Joe Rogan category.
Yeah, the Joe Rogan category. I think it's, what is it? It's 1,000. It's 1,000 subscribers to monetize.
Oh yeah.
That's what I heard somewhere.
1,000 subscribers. So we only have like 58 actual subscribers to the show, right? So, all right, we'll get our social media interns on this.
Yeah, let's get our interns.
So in the waiting room already, we have our next guest. I don't know. Do you want to introduce her? Because apparently she just texted me earlier saying, and can you please pronounce my name right? And I was like, holy shit, I've known you for years. And why didn't you ever tell me? So please do the intro before we let her in.
Oh, Chandana.
Oh, now you're concerned if you have pronouncing it.
Yeah. Well, so that you give it a pronunciation. Now she's going to be upset with me if I do it incorrectly.
So I say Chandana.
Yeah.
Fitzgerald. Chandana. Okay.
With that guy. Chandana she's the medical director for Health Excel, so kind of near and dear to our hearts. She is born in India, married to an Irishman, lives in Dublin. We wanted her on the podcast for lots of reasons other than being kind of knowing us well and kind of a cool digital health kind of guru. She ran a big conference in India for Health Excel recently, so I thought kind of taking us around the world.
That one I missed.
Yeah, getting ourselves out of Americans for a second. I think that's pretty good. So anything else you want to add to it?
She's just funny too. Like I just enjoy talking to her every time. Yeah. So I'm gonna let her in.
You let her in. And I'm assuming she goes by Fitzgerald in terms of her Irish name. Chandana.
Chandana.
Hello.
Hey.
We just had a huge argument before you came on. No, not really.
We were.
how do you pronounce your name? Because I was telling Jim, I'm embarrassed. You texted me saying I've been calling incorrectly. Why didn't you correct me ever before?
I have. I feel like I've corrected both you and Jim many times.
Oh, so okay.
Let's hear it live.
Did I just like open a can of worms here? Like No, but guys, like I don't. I'm not confrontational. You see, that's why.
Yeah, but give us a good proper pronunciation, and then we can.
It's Chandana.
Chandana.
Yeah, see, but like many North Americans, some of my cousins included, and my friends from Canada, they just say Shanana because that's just easy. So you can think of it like that, like NSHA, even though it's not accurate, but it's close.
So I put the accent Chandana.
Yeah, I think you break them. Yeah, it's just at the start rather than at the end.
We were in full sweat.
We're trying to crack it. It's like, how do we introduce her?
It takes a lot to make us nervous.
I'll just call you Fitz.
Yeah. My latest name is Chandana Wear a Mask. If you've seen my Twitter, which is not active at all, but I'm hoping it'll make a difference.
So give us. I just did a little intro, but why don't you check my intro? Why don't you give your little own take on it? I said, doctor turned digital health guru, just ran a huge conference. Medical director for Health Excel, ran a huge conference in India recently that we wanted to talk about with digital health in India. So we wanted to kind of go around the world, but give us your own little take on who.
That's sweet. You called me a guru. No one's ever called me that before. I feel like that's pretty accurate. So, I'm a physician by background, training after a stint at hospitals. I've serendipitously worked in digital health and really loved it and enjoyed it. So I've worked, before Health Excel, I actually worked with a couple of other digital health companies, one of which is actually a physician community online that's pretty active in like Asia and Africa. And that got acquired last year by a Japanese firm, although I had nothing to do at the time of acquisition because I was very much in Health Excel.
Did you keep any shares at least?
No.
All right. Just asking.
I'm not rich, guys. I've just busted my bum in lots of different companies. That's it. The rich people are the ones I'm talking to right now.
Yeah.
I'm in a garage slash. I'm in the startup mode. # startup life.
You're like a startup guy who wears Gucci.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
My wife just lets me sit on the couch.
But yeah, it's so weird to talk about myself. And at Health Excel, obviously, I've been here a good few years now, and
What are we in? How many years in Health Excel?
3.
3 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna say, what made you actually leave practicing from the hospital? Like I talked to so many people that do that, and just kind of curious on your story. Why?
Yeah, I'd love to hear what others have said, but I obviously have some friends who've kind of followed the same trajectory, but it was a couple of different things, right? I can't really put my finger on it. One is, I think those few years really drained the juice out of me, to be completely honest. It might have just been that time of my life and where I was and just kind of the whole setting. And the second thing was, I think I was definitely looking for a challenge that would harness some of the other skills that I know I have in me, but maybe was not really brought out, as a practitioner. There are a lot of things you have to do as a clinician in terms of judgment and, taking decisions on the spot, communication and relationships. But I don't know, I feel like this intersection with technology and business being stimulated by, people in tech and marketing and across different kind of sectors, I feel like it's really great for me. And that's not to say I tried a couple of other things in between, right? So I also wanted to study more, of course, Indian. That kind of is just ingrained in me. Just keep studying a lot, go to Harvard. That's it, done, work for Google, and life is made. But I didn't quite go down that path. But so I did my MPH, and I'm kind of specialized in public health, right? But the reality is I couldn't really work in public health. That was a bit of a pipe dream. I felt like it's just not my lifestyle, and I have to call a spade a spade. I'm not.
When would we ever need public health people?
What?
When would public health people ever become super popular? Like right now, they're central.
That's true. They're subtly all over the place, right? But it's not even that. It's like, if you think about the practice of it outside of someone who's doing all the stats, like the epidemiology part of it, but what about those who are working, say, in rural Africa, rural Asia, help people? I feel like it takes a special type of person to do that. And while I want to help, I think just being there and doing those things on the ground, it's harder than I thought.
I think I'm fascinated with the clinician. I feel like clinicians and venture capitalists have a lot in common.
Interesting. Why do you say that?
Well, that goes into our summary notes.
I'm impressed by both of them, because they go through the day. I need a lot of space. I need to think about things. I need to be able to go deep in a subject. I need to be in control of my own schedule. But doctors see person after person after person, and they diagnose. They have to walk into the room in this tiny period of time, figure out what's wrong with you, then go to the next thing. And so they're kind of so clinical. It's like chop, 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 chop. And I imagine it's exhausting, or you'd have to get energy from that somehow, right?
Yeah, but
where does the venture capital come in?
Venture capitalists are sitting there they're doing meeting after meeting after meeting, diagnosing, is this going to be a company that could be huge for me? So they just go and they're kind of moving through. So they can never stay too close to one company. They never go too deep. They can never go, I suppose they do when they make their investments, but they spend most of the year doing hundreds and hundreds of meetings to make one investment, right? And so they're going from meeting to meeting, and they're kind of diagnosing on a positive side, or, is this worth investing in or not? Is this something behind? That's my take.
I'm not sure if I don't know if he flattered or he literally just criticized both buckets to say, they're not really going deep. They're not actually spending enough time on each of them. They're just doing a lot of it.
No, they can't. And but when I talk to clinicians, a lot of my friends are clinicians, and I find they love digital health, like the ones that have this anchoring for innovation. They just love digital health, even if they have big practices and they have all the, the status and financial rewards and, personal, I guess, fulfillment of treatment.
You all viewers and listeners heard it here first. Clinicians and VCs are the same.
Yeah, you heard it here first. But you know what? That kind of, I don't know. I was just thinking in 15 years, maybe I want to be a VC, but I feel like you kind of lined it up nicely for me to say you have all the traits.
You have all the traits.
You can jump from one thing to the other and not really finish.
Super smart kind of there. And also that public health thing, I think, would play in too, right? You gotta know how the macro scene's playing out, right? The whole, where's the money shifting?
And would you do it in digital health? Would you be a digital health VC?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so, right? I wouldn't have thought of anything else, but
you'd crush it.
I don't know. Yeah. By the way, I was just looking at your cushions. They look so nice, Jim.
Oh yeah, you like them?
Yeah, they're so lovely.
Wait,
my first cushion compliment.
I'm gonna join Jim.
What? How did you do that?
Yeah, Eugene is.
She obviously have not watched the other episodes.
Exactly.
No, I've only listened. See, I've only listened on Spotify, so I don't get to see the video.
Yeah.
So at one point, hold on, I'll show you something else. And then unfortunately for the listeners, they won't be able to, but I'm going to disappear from the screen. And then.
Oh my God.
What?
You're like the illusionist.
Yes, exactly. So I'm back in. Anyway.
Is this an actual Zoom feature?
Yeah, you can put a background, and I just took a screenshot of Jim's.
You're not
background.
actually on
Well, I have put a background, but I didn't actually, that's just smart.
That is digital, and
it's not new tech.
I'm trying to tie this into the digital health. I mean, if you want to feel zen, you can be on the beach and do it, whatever you want to do, and change your background virtually. So
we want to touch on. I don't know what you had on your list, but we want to touch on. So we usually check in. It's like how's the whole plague? We're not allowed to say certain words on this podcast. So
as I learned on the previous episode.
Yeah.
But honestly, Jim, we're gonna have to add plague to the list because you say it all the time.
Yeah, I feel like you can't say that. That's actually super offensive. Worse than the C word.
Worse than the C word.
But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So we asked like, hey, how's it going in Dublin? But I think we're both in Dublin. So I'm assuming you have a similar experience that I do. Like Dublin's pretty chill about this at this stage, right? Around staying in, or how are you feeling? It's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, this week we've reached 9 cases, right? So we're very close to nil. I guess if we get to 0, then everybody can be out and about, feel a bit more comfortable doing that, I guess. And we won't have to do some crazy contact tracing for those 9 or whatever number of cases that emerge. Yeah, you're right. I think people are pretty chill. In general, they've been pretty conforming of the rules,
right?
Which is surprising. I'm not in a bad way, but like, you know, that people haven't got so agitated and just, because it's been 3 months, right? Pretty long. But then again, it's all contextual. That's what I say. Like, it's easier for a country like Ireland, which is small population, to actually contain it compared with, say, India, for example. You're talking about 1 billion people. So I think the scale of things is just totally different.
Right. So let's talk about that. So you keep in touch with your family back there. Like what is happening? I mean, I feel like certain parts of the world like are kind of off the map right now. Like everyone always talked about India. Everyone talked about, but unless you have like, so what's happening in India
so I've obviously been in touch with them throughout, and I guess that's the part that hasn't changed for me, right? I've been in touch remotely for the most part, so it's not really that new. It's interesting. So India is kind of like all of Europe, like treated like a whole continent. Every state is its own kind of country, essentially, a bit like the United States and in its federation. So every state is making its own decisions based on whether it's like a red zone or a green zone, depending on the caseload. So some parts are actually quite okay for the size of the population. So for example, my parents are from Bangalore, and apparently they only have a few thousand cases for like a 10 million population. So that's nothing. That's same as us saying 9 cases for the 4.5 million population.
But I'm curious, is the testing available, right? Because the cases are always, contextually
100% underreported. Like goes without saying. Like my clinician friends are basically flipping out in the hospital because they're like, this is going to go out of control. But it's just really hard there, right? And also, it's not it's a really stratified society. So one size doesn't fit all. You know, you can't make a blanket rule that's applicable to everybody. They did do it though pretty early, which is really which is great. Like early March, they kind of secured the lockdown, and then they've slowly started easing the restrictions. They've done really good contact tracing, and those type of public health practices have actually been pretty efficient. Even though it's back to basics, it's literally someone with a register. Okay, who did they talk to? Where did they go? That sort of thing. But it works, and not for the most part, but that is one of the strategies. So I think it's really different. Like, and Mumbai, like Jim, we were there. So Mumbai is a different case, right? I think the caseload is so high there. It's a really dense city. Yeah. So things spread really fast there. There's people who live in small houses, many people, like 6 to 8 people in a small little tiny right. So I feel
when was that Health Excel? That's one of very few that I've actually missed.
When was it?
So that was November 2018. 2018. Yeah.
What are we now? Yeah.
Pretty long ago now.
We're in Twilight Zone, so it doesn't really matter.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it was pretty long ago.
So I'm actually curious. What did you guys? I mean, like, being in my old role prior to the startup, we've always gotten. I think 1 year got a tremendous amount of submissions from digital health startups. We found them generally maturity was much lower, but also solving different problems, right? So I'm actually kind of curious on. With the Health Excel, but also obviously you have the connection there. Like what's kind of general digital health in India? I know again, huge country, lots of stuff going on, but.
Yeah. So I'd say the startup ecosystem is super active for one. Like there's a lot of hubs, especially within the larger cities where you have so much innovation. You know, there's a solution for every problem, maybe so many solutions even. Obviously not all of them scale and really make an impact. I'd say it's pretty ripe for digital health as well. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is the out-of-pocket consumer, right? So it's like a retail industry. The healthcare industry can become retailized or whatever. So that's why you have so much D2C stuff, whether it's telehealth, e-pharmacy, delivery of things, you know. It's so incredible that you could order something this morning and you'll have it at your door that evening, right? It's quick because they have that kind of supply chain, that kind of manpower. So they really leverage all of those. Obviously, incredible tech talent in India and some parts of India, especially Bangalore. And so because of that, they're able to build lots of great apps and all of that. And the mobile penetration within India is huge. Everybody has a mobile phone. So there's a way to easily reach people. So there's that whole element. And I think it's a rapidly growing economy. So people just have greater buying power. They have more money. They are demanding more. So they find solutions. So I would say digital health is quite ripe. They're doing stuff there that we are still talking about here and trying to figure out, you know, things like, how do I give an e-prescription? How do I talk to a specialist online? How do I deliver medications home? They even do lab tests. So I could literally order a kit. So I collect my saliva sample or urine sample or whatever, send it off in the post. It'll go to my local closest lab, get analyzed, and I'll get my results. And then I can also share that with my clinician. There's a lot of openness in terms of sharing healthcare. Like I can actually have access to my results. It's not just sitting with my GP. You could look at it in the other way, right? The lack of certain regulation has made it easier or kind of created a beeline. I won't say easy, but it's created a beeline for innovation. Yeah.
And what are some, I mean, we know our friends at Wealthy Therapeutics and Abhishek love what they do. Any other ones that's kind of stand out for you? I'm just, again.
Yeah, I think Wealthy is a really good example. There's 1mg and Practo. They both do kind of the telehealth plus all the e-pharmacy, all of that. So they both are really active. And there's Daily Rounds where I worked before. It's kind of a physician community online. They're really brilliant as well.
Okay.
And each of these have loads of competitors. And honestly, so there are some really great ones like the one there's a little box, actually, I can't remember the name, Caredos or something like that. So they're kind of dispensing pills in specific doses so that, you know, it's to promote adherence, that sort of thing. Yeah, these are the ones that come to mind, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot more. I'm out of touch a little bit as well.
I had the best clinical appointment I've ever had as a result of that trip.
Tell me about it. What do you mean? What do you mean by the best?
So, you know, we were doing the Health Excel event. We had all the companies up. You were presenting. And there was a company called Map My Genome, I think.
They're brilliant.
Yeah.
They're brilliant.
And they, at the break, I don't know if you can, we're broken up here, you're frozen, Eugene. They, at the break, they took my, I signed a consent form. They took my saliva. They did my, you know, genetic profile. When I got back to Ireland, they gave me a phone call. They got on the phone for an hour. You know, I filled out a little profile and they went through all my kind of health risks, you know, based on my genetic, you know, dispositions and everything else. And I had the best appointment because everything was done like full 360. So it was like, you know, here's your concern, you know, here's, you know, are you at risk of diabetes or multiple sclerosis or cardiovascular disease or whatever it was. And it was so comprehensive. The person was excellent, like the genetic scientist on the other side. And all my clinician friends were all like, oh, you know, they were kind of suspicious about it. They're like, oh, what, you know, what's the genetic predisposition? Of course.
Yeah.
But because it anchored, it was so personal to me, you know, it was like everything. It was like, you know, whether you had a propensity towards certain conditions, because it was about me. I paid attention to everything. I sat there for 2 hours listening to everything she said, you know?
Yeah.
And
I remember them actually. That sounds, there's also the whole customer service hospitality element of Indians, I think kicks in no matter what they do. Yeah, that's great to hear though. Yeah, I'd say there's Yeah, there's a lot of things that are available to the average Indian that we may not be able to access here because of just the way things are structured, right? So for I can here a gastroenterologist because
But
I
also,
want.
sorry,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
don't know which one of us, but also I think there's a lot of things that are not available, right? Especially in like rural areas. I don't know if you
Yes.
guys know Carmen Kobza, Lady Be Well. So one of the things that he was doing is going to the regions and working with the government on teaching the teachers around breast cancer, right? For example.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, no, totally. Like I said, I think really diverse population. So there's so many access, affordability issues, and it's really rife. So, for example, when I did my rural stint, I stayed in this remote village in the middle of nowhere. The closest like grocery store was about 5 kilometers away, and it would shut at like 4 p.m. So I had to make sure I ran there, got whatever I needed to. And the place that I stayed was just the basics. You know, there were lizards and roaches and stuff in the room. So scary. It was right next to a forest. So sometimes the villagers would come out with drums and stuff because they were trying to fend off elephants and wild animals coming towards the fields. And it was just the scariest thing. And so this is reality. There were power cuts for about half the day. And so sometimes at night I'd just be sitting there. My phone would be out of juice and I literally had nothing to do. And there'd be like mosquitoes and stuff. And that's the living part of it. And then so I was running the primary health center at that time there. Nobody came to me. Like, so I went door to door and I actually checked people's blood pressure and everything. And I was like, guys, why don't you come to the primary health care center? It's free. It's run by the government. Why don't you come and get yourself checked? And there were so many people I found in that village who were hypertensive, but they were just in denial. They were like, just leave me alone. Stop bothering me. You know, so there's a lot of lack of awareness and education about health and nutrition, all those type of things.
Yeah, different conditions. Is there like, are they like hopeful? Is it kind of despair about health? Are they just lack of awareness, or is it you can't make one?
Probably mixed. It's mixed, I'd say. Yeah, a little bit of everything. So it really depends on where you are. And then obviously you have the other side of it, which I've described, where everything's at the call of a button, you know?
Yeah. Not to change topic, but it's always like your brain works in mysterious ways. I saw your pink socks. Is that a pink socks?
Is that necklace? Pink socks? Sorry, it was just my Mojune.
Okay, so it's Nick Atkins with the pink socks. It's the I'm not wearing any socks. That's too much information.
Yeah.
Hopefully
no, I know what the pink socks is. Honestly, this was totally unintentional, and I'm not really into any movements as such. But if it's a cause, sure, why not?
Why not?
And speaking of like movements and stuff, so I've noticed like the Health Excel lunches. Can you explain this?
Oh,
like, I haven't participated yet, but
so you will soon, both of you. But this is basically us holding hands virtually.
Yeah, you gotta kind of
Yeah, see, think about it. It's, I mean, yeah, sure. People could have given a bit of curvature.
I would
then
go
you don't
like
want to look
this.
like you have like claws or something.
Yeah,
I think it depends on like, if it's right now, three of us, I would hold your hand from here and Jim this way. I don't know.
This.
But,
there you go. Can make it work.
And actually, how has it been going, right? Because it's like, I actually did a poll just like the other day I asked the question on Twitter, your virtual conference attendance on weekly basis. 0 is like, not for me. 1 to 3 being selective. 3 to 10 keeps it fun. 10 plus, I'm addicted. So I had about 51 votes, and 65% of those said 1 to 3 being selective. So I'm kind of curious on actually kind of similar.
So is that 1 to 3? They're attending 1 to 3, or they would like to attend 1 to 3 a week?
I guess it was your virtual conference attend. So I think they are attending. That's, I don't have like qualitative.
That's significant, right? 1 to 3 a week. That's significant. Yeah. So the uptake of these has been pretty phenomenal, especially among people who know Health Excel somewhat, at least, because they know that, okay, you can expect quality in terms of the people attending as well as the discussions. And I think this kind of small group format of just kind of intimate behind closed doors is really working well. And lots of people have actually asked for like an encore as well. So far so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like Chatham House rules or Chandana House rules? Chandana. I got it.
Well, yeah, there are some rules. Basic, I guess. Just show up on time, switch on a video, be chill, be cool.
Don't be an asshole.
You're not here to just like listen. Imagine if I came in here and I just gave you guys the silent treatment because I'm waiting to learn from both of you, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it, but that's not really what that lunch is about. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so you set up, so Health Excel has these kind of virtual lunches, and they're kind of closed. So it's a small group of people that get together. They don't record them or anything, right? Or they don't, you
at the moment.
You basically go deep on a topic as if you were showing up to a Health Excel event. And
pretty much like as deep as we can in the hour or hour and a half that we have at hand, right? So the time is the limitation, which is why we've kind of done follow-ons, so we bring the same group back to continue the conversation.
I love
I don't know. I think personally Marty should sponsor this episode because I feel like we're all involved, either advisors or working with.
There's definitely prejudice on this. Yeah, lots of promotion going on. Yeah. I'll just ring Martin and ask him to give me a raise for this free promotion.
Yeah, we take a lot of heat from Multibear every time we promote Health Excel on here. But
yeah, especially from Matthew Holt.
Yeah.
We haven't had his minute by minute breakdown, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed those.
Yeah, he trashes us usually right afterwards.
I've seen one of them actually. I saw that exchange on Twitter, and I wasn't sure if it was a joke or not. I'm just assume it was.
Yeah, just assume it was.
I always take everything Matthew says as a joke. So
yeah.
but still,
Yeah. If you have a choice,
virtual hug.
What was this expression? If you have a choice between conspiracy or incompetence, it's usually incompetence.
Yeah. On the note of cool innovation in India, so I don't know if you guys remember, about 4 years ago, they devalued the currency, right, in India, and so this was actually a year before, or maybe 2 years before the Health Excel session there. But anyway, so they devalued the currency. The goal was to get rid of all the black money from the country and then introduce new bills, right? So everybody had to kind of pay up all the tax they owed government, et cetera. So when they did that, there was a period when there were no bills at all.
Right.
A couple of things happened as a result. Number one, obviously the use of all these wallets for payment. So it became a pretty much cardless, contactless society. Yep. Back then, 4 years ago, and it's great. So people started managing all their transactions online, and you can pay through that app. Basically, that happened, which is very similar to what's in China with WeChat and stuff. Right. The second thing that happened is actually the fascinating one, not the first one. So the people who actually wanted to go withdraw cash from the ATMs, once they introduced the new bills, and they did it in a phased manner, so there were limited transactions allowed. You can only withdraw X rupees per day or whatever.
Right.
Queues were insane, as you can expect. So literally, you would be in the queue for 3 hours to withdraw a bit of money, and you probably have to come back in 4 days' time for those who wanted to use cash. So there was an app that was started that literally gave you a boy or a person who will go wait for you in line. And then they'll text you when your turn's coming up, and you just step out of your office or whatever and quickly jump in and get your cash out. So that 3 hour wait has been done by someone else for you.
So TaskRabbit, right? There was in US TaskRabbit, which IKEA bought
Pretty
them,
much.
I think. Yeah.
Pretty much.
But I love TaskRabbit. That was awesome. I love using
This is great.
I use TaskRabbit all the time.
And now we have here Instacart, right? Like that through this craziness became you basically shop online, but there's like a shopper that actually goes to stores for you across different stores. So like now, so
it's like I don't want to put myself at risk, but I'll put you at risk.
Yeah.
Right.
As we were talking, there was an Instacart driver dropped stuff off in front of the garage.
I'm
the timer here. We're like,
we got to talk so comedic. so comedic interactions with Eugene or Jim, that was one of your tasks here. You have to come up. But I was thinking, just to not put you on the spot, I was thinking like us running the Diwali, the Diwali
that was
party. So that was a good one.
That was unbeatable. I actually bumped into your cello artist in the park the other day.
Oh, did you? My bass player.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Your instrumentalist who also brought in the Indian dancer.
Right. Yeah. So the joke here, Eugene, the inside joke here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel bad. I missed this.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So I like to throw these these costume parties and or parties for my wife. I would say I'm doing it for my wife. And we were planning on going to India, right? We were planning on going to India. We were going to go to a wedding. And so we were going to throw a Diwali, but we wanted it to be authentic. So we made everyone come in costume. And then, but the only Indian person that we knew.
It's not a costume, it's an outfit.
It's an outfit, sorry. Come in.
Sorry, Jim, what's the shirt costume you're wearing?
My costume. Awesome. So in outfits. So everyone had to come in Indian outfits, or that's not even right. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, it was a good party. But and we everyone showed up in gear. Everyone showed up in gear. But I hired a band, and then the band had organized, was supposed to be an authentic Indian dancer, but she turned out to be Brazilian. So that's kind of
It was a Brazilian who was doing Arab belly dancing. So I feel like we could have gotten away with the Arab belly dancing somewhat, but eventually she wasn't even Arab. There's obviously a lot of
I definitely missed that one.
Yeah, Zoroastrians and stuff. Yeah.
What about me? So what's memorable for you with me?
Interesting.
Ouch.
Your shoes?
Love
your,
all right.
shoes. I feel like
it.
Yeah, the shoes. And then I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't know how you have the strength to do this, but you're just always in touch with people. It's truly draining. Like for me anyway, I mean, secret is that I thought that I would die without all these interpersonal interactions. I've been fine.
Really?
Introvert. Secret introvert.
I'm an extrovert.
Yeah. I think that's what we're doing. This is basically, when we say this is therapy, digital health therapy, it's really for me and Eugene primarily here.
but
it's just
Marina,
it's just to feel validation for the things that you do. Yeah.
Right.
So every time, we would go to a conference together, Marina and I, like, it gives me energy. For her, it like drains it, right? Like it takes a lot. And same thing with these discussions. Like I do find, like, back a little bit to the conferences or attending things, like for me it's you're always on these Zoom calls, etc. This is the highlight for the week for me, and so I am actually being selective, like 1 to 2, and unless I'm speaking at one or something, right, generally speaking.
I find it's this has definitely been an anchor thing, like because we do like a 15-minute touch base on Monday, and then we do this call. But then I get a chance, because we wouldn't have got a chance to see you, or we would have saw Francesca or Sarah or Rob or whoever.
No, this
I don't know.
This
we have
is
too
really
many people.
fun, and I feel like it's just really fun and pretty chill, right? So this is a nice conversation to have. It's just really hard, I guess, when you have to do back-to-back kind of, whether it's on, or even in person for that matter.
Yeah,
agreed.
I'm way too.
I'm now going to be like,
time out, huh?
Time out. This was absolutely awesome. As we started saying, we need about 1,000 subscribers so we can start monetizing this. So if you're watching or listening, subscribe now, people. Thank you, Chandana. I'm going to kick myself. Close. Still didn't get it right. All right.
But it has been my honor to be on the show, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, great job. I think you're going to be a big hit with the screening party later on. So
absolutely. All right. Cheers.